like you were taught. We need to be taught like you were taught. New is not always better. Teach us to be classy women, handsome men. Teach us grace. Don't let us get away with coming in there with our white uniforms and you're seeing our colored thongs. Don't let us get away with that. Students, don't let your classmates get away with that, because it happens. Don't allow ourselves to speak unseemingly. There's a professional etiquette in speech, and there's a way that you can handle conflict with grace. You don't always have to get violent. We don't always have to do the snap. We don't always have to use our neck. There's a way to handle conflict with grace and with respect. And if you get somebody in your class and you know they don't really have the personality to be a clinical nurse, please tell them. Tell us. Because we know everybody's personality is not a people person. They might take their boards, but perhaps they need to work inside the insurance office and not on the floor with the patients. I'll use my mother as an example. I was wondering where I got my interest in medicine. And I found out that she was the first black x-ray tech that Wake Tech had in Raleigh, North Carolina, when I was born. She was their x-ray tech. Well, I was devastated to know I was born in a segregated hospital. I don't know why I was surprised at that. I was born in '66. Okay, you do the math. Yes. I'm not as young as I look. That's just the grace of God. However, she went into a room, and the patient did not want her to touch them because she's light-skinned, yes, because her mother's an Irish woman, but her father's a black man. So they could tell she wasn't all white. They didn't want her to touch them. And she quickly found out that her temper was too quick and her tongue was too sharp for her to stay in patient care. So if you, as an educator, are seeing these traits, please let us know. Please groom us the correct way. If we're lacking caring and empathy and kindness, we don't need to be in patient care. We need to be in another place in nursing. We need to be taught these things. Because of people's backgrounds anymore, some of them have never been shown empathy. Some of them have never been shown caring. You may have to even teach them like they're your own children. But while you are training us, and while you are coddling us, please, please don't get short-tempered with us. And because of the political antics that go on in the office, and we're coming in to be new nurses, please don't think we're coming in to take your jobs, because we're not. We just want a job of our own. We want you to teach us to go on and teach somebody else like you're teaching us. This challenge is hard. People are losing their jobs. Nobody wants to perform the different tasks at work. And oftentimes, I come across the older nurses or the retired and they say, oh, I'm too old for that, or you're not old. You're seasoned and you're wise. Our nursing family is one body. We need the seasoned and the wise nurses to be the head. We need you to be the head of the body, delivering knowledge and wisdom and telling the rest of the body what is needed and how to get it. We need the middle educators to be the trunk of the body, housing the intricate organs, maintaining the body system, and keeping homeostasis, all of our checks and balances. In educating students, circulating information, and skills that are ultimately the life source of the body. And we, the neophytes, or the members, being taught, led, trained, molded, would be the extremities, carrying out all of your instructions that you're giving to us. We all have a job to do, and we all have to work together to get it done. So please pay it forward. I had the pleasure of working with a registered nurse practitioner when I first came to Jacksonville 7.5 years ago by the name of Janie Gachia. And she was such an intricate part of my wanting to go on to finish my registered nursing degree, to become a practitioner, because she constantly gave back to those she taught and constantly gave back to the people. I found out that she was married to a gentleman from Kenya. And at that time, she was pursuing her PhD at the University of Florida. So going back and forth to Kenya, she saw the challenges of our people over there. And she took a class in grant writing, and now they have the Gachia Medical Clinic over in Kenya. And now they've added several mother-baby units so the women don't have to travel far to have their children. Because if you do your research, a lot of the children, their mortality rate is large because they had to travel hundreds of miles just to get to a decent medical facility to deliver their children. And I took that as an example because someone asked me a long time ago who I wanted to be and what I wanted to be in life. And I wasn't sure, but I saw one lady on TV, and I always said Mother Teresa. And they laughed at me. They said, why do you want to be that lady? Because she went around and she was caring for everybody that couldn't care for herself. So it may be funny, but you never know. I may be the first black Mother Teresa. Did you see them coming? It can happen. I also had another mentor that for some reason has taken me under her wing, and I so appreciate it. I met her while I was still in school and attending a Janie meeting. She turned around and said, you guys need to be members. Do you guys know we're giving out scholarships? And we're like, no, we didn't know that. And she turned around and she gave us a paper of 2 scholarships that were being given out. And one was this scholarship, and one was for the Florida Black Nurses Association. And for some reason, she's always called me, did you fill out your paper? How you doing in class? And that's none other than Miss Dana Morris. I don't know why she treats me so good. I didn't even go to her school, but I so appreciate it. I'm so glad to be here. And it's people like Miss Morris and people like yourselves that don't let us drop to the ground and don't let us fall through the cracks. Even if we're not in your classrooms and you see us in passing, keep up with us. Encourage us, because as you know, school is hard. And when you're working and going to school and you have families and financial issues, you just want to quit. But it's calls like that that come in that make me pick up that book and say, okay, I need to study a little bit more. Because there's somebody that has faith in me, and there's somebody depending on me. And last year when I was standing here, I told you I appreciated the scholarship, and I promised you that I was not going to disappoint you. And I'm not. I'm signing up, and I'm going on for my master's and my practitioner, because I, like you, I don't want our people to fall through the cracks. I don't want our generation to fall through the cracks, no matter what color they are. Now it doesn't even matter. It's the generation. They're falling through the cracks. And I want to pick up where you're going to be leaving off and downloading into me, so there's no child and no person left behind. And I guess that's not only in medicine. Actually, well, I have to tell the truth. Before Mother Teresa, I wanted to be a beach bum. They said, what do you want to be? I said, a beach bum. They said, why a beach bum? Because it's always warm. The water's always rolling in. However, with the foundation I have in my family, my grandmother and grandfather ran the Black, Blind, and Deaf School in Raleigh, North Carolina for 40 years. So that wasn't going to happen. My great-grandfather, who we call P-Pop, was also an educator and a farmer, and the school system in Northampton County of North Carolina is still named after him, W.C. Creasy the First. It wasn't going to happen. My Uncle Pap was the first black congressman to go to Washington from Northampton County. My beach bum wasn't going to happen. Then my Uncle Bruff, who we call Uncle Bruff, Emmanuel Jr., was the first black gentleman to integrate North Carolina State University when they were allowed to integrate students. So I said, well, I'll still be a beach bum. I'll just go on to get my education because I can't see how I'm going to survive under that pier with no food, no shelter, no lighting, no clothing. So how about if I just take my chair out there with my book after a hard day on the floor, and I'm an educated beach bum, and that's what I've become. We also talk about recruitment and retention. Recruiting other colleagues to participate in grooming, leading, and mentoring nurses that are new to the profession is hard. And why is it hard? Because I know they don't want to pay you your worth monetarily. But I can assure you that down the line, the worth is much better when you see your students progressing and you see your students progressing. And you see Chi Eta Phi not only in this region progressing, but growing with thousands of members on a daily basis. That's where your reward comes in. However, it would be nice to get a reward on earth too. So we need nurses to go to Capitol Hill. We need nurses to fight these budget cuts. We can be an intricate part of this society, not only in the doctor's office. We need people fighting for people that don't have health insurance. And especially in these times, our young people need someone else to look up to, other than a half-dressed video vixen that makes promiscuity look rewarding. It's not. Hard work, education, maintaining excellent health, respecting your elders, respecting one another, respecting yourself, living in grace, that's rewarding. I had a little video, she's given me 5 minutes, so I'm going to play it. If I can hear it. Right here. And I thought it was kind of funny because I've heard this saying before, and I think we need to be careful and we don't need to do these things. But it's called nurses eat their young. Have you heard that? And I thought it was just us in Ohio, but I see it's everywhere, and I thought it was funny.
Greetings, my fellow YouTube nurses. This is brought to you by
MyNurse.com.
Okay.
Check them out. Don't forget.
I'll fast forward it.
PNs, nurse practitioners, anything that ends with nursing, scope them out. It's awesome, beautiful, and sickening how much nursing stuff there is on there. It's awesome. So scope them out, guys. So I want to talk about today why nurses eat their young. I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think they do that, and I'll give you my experience on how it was for me as a male nurse. So first and foremost, let's go with the question of the week, saying, after a few months of nursing, I'm trying to figure out why nurses eat their young, because I've never worked in such a backstabbing
I'll tell you what he said. He said we were a backstabbing, mean, and something else group of people that eat their young. You come on the floor to be taught, and you have no patience with us. You don't want to answer our questions. And the video went on to say it was because you have no time, you're getting paid no money. And he said, you don't want us to take your jobs. However, I added something else to that. It's because we're in the no paper generation that has now generated more paper than ever. We're on that computer, and they only give us so much time to do your documentation. We have to answer to our on-the-job husbands or wives or whatever you want to call them. We call them doctors. We got to answer to them. But we need to be careful because we're looking up to you. They're looking up to me, and we need to pay it forward. We need to keep each other up, encourage each other in prayer. When you see somebody having a bad day on the floor, step in. Don't let them sink. We need to get rid of that, the nurses eat their young. I don't think that's true. I think you all love us, but you don't have time for foolishness, and we don't have time for foolishness. We're there to save lives, right? So we need somebody to teach us to save lives. We need to teach us to save lives the correct way and do it with grace, do it with dignity, and do it with respect.